I opened the email thinking it was a routine job application. The candidate's name was Derek Morrison. Operations manager position. Standard resume. But when he walked into my conference room that Wednesday morning, my blood went cold. It was him. My mother's boyfriend. The man she'd been dating for 8 months. The man who'd sat across from me at exactly one family dinner, bragging about business ventures that never materialized. And now he was here in my company interviewing for a job, where I would be his boss. And he had no idea who I was. 2 days earlier, my mother had sent me a text. Don't come to Thanksgiving. You're always too busy with work anyway. 4 words that ended 32 years of family tradition. But as Derek sat across from me, fumbling through interview questions he clearly wasn't prepared for, I realized that text wasn't a rejection. It was the opening move in a game I didn't know I was playing. And I was about to find out just how far my own family would go to destroy everything I'd built. Comment below. Would you have revealed yourself immediately in that interview, or stayed quiet to see what they were really planning? Because what I discovered by keeping my identity hidden changed my entire life. My name is Rebecca Chin. I'm 32 years old and I've spent the last 15 years building my career from nothing. Community college while working retail. Bachelor's degree at night while working full-time. MBA paid for with money I saved by living in a studio apartment with 3 roommates. Every promotion earned. Every success fought for. 3 months ago, I was promoted to Director of Operations at TechCore Solutions, a mid-sized tech company in San Francisco. Salary, $185,000. Benefits, full. Respect, earned. For the first time in my life, I wasn't struggling. I had savings. I had a 401k. I had a future. My family's reaction was complicated. Mom lives in Sacramento, 90 miles away. She's 63, retired from a 20-year career as a bank teller, and spends most of her time managing my younger sister Ashley's life. Ashley is 30 years old and has never held a job for more than 6 months. She lives in Mom's basement. She's been taking classes at community college for 8 years. She's currently between opportunities, which is Mom's phrase for unemployed by choice. I visit every few months. Not as often as I used to. The visits got harder after Dad left when I was 14. Mom became different. Controlling. Resentful when I succeeded. Dismissive when I tried to share good news. The promotion to director? She asked if it meant I'd be too busy for family now. I told her no. I'd make time. Always made time. That was a lie she seemed eager to believe. 6 months ago, Mom started dating Derek Morrison. She met him on a dating app. He was 51, never married, claimed to be a business consultant. At our one family dinner together, he spent 2 hours talking about deals he'd almost closed, investments he'd almost made, and opportunities that had fallen through due to bad luck. I remember thinking he was a bullshitter. Charming maybe. Good-looking in a middle-aged guy who works out way. But hollow. The kind of man whose stories don't add up if you're paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. I was just trying to get through dinner. Now, 3 months later, he was sitting in my conference room. The interview started normally. My HR director Janet was there taking notes. I'd already reviewed Derek's resume that morning. 5 years of operations experience at Morrison Consulting, vendor relations manager at a company called Pacific Logistics, supply chain coordinator at Western Distribution. Standard background for the role we were hiring. But when Derek walked in and saw me, his face went through a fascinating sequence. Recognition. Confusion. Then, almost instantly, calculation. I watched him decide how to play this. He went with familiar. Rebecca. Oh my God. Small world. He laughed too loud. Your mom didn't mention you worked here. That was the first lie. Mom knew exactly where I worked. I'd told her the name of my company a dozen times. She'd even looked it up once, saying something dismissive about tech companies with their ping-pong tables and free snacks. I kept my face neutral. Derek. Thanks for coming in. Please have a seat. Janet glanced at me confused. I gave her a small head shake. Not now. The interview was a disaster. Not because Derek was nervous, though he was, but because he was unqualified. I asked him basic questions about supply chain management. He fumbled. I asked about inventory systems. He gave vague, buzzword-filled answers that meant nothing. I asked him to describe his most challenging vendor negotiation. He told a story that made no sense and contradicted itself 3 times. His resume claimed he was proficient in SAP, Oracle, and NetSuite. I asked him to describe a recent project using any of those platforms. He literally said, "Well, I've worked with all of them in various capacities over my career, interfacing with the systems as needed." That's not how someone with 5 years of experience talks about software they use daily. That's how someone who's never touched those systems talks about them. But the worst part? He kept trying to make it personal. "Your mom talks about you all the time," he said, leaning forward with a smile. "She's so proud. She told me you're brilliant at what you do. I'd love to learn from someone in the family, you know? This is a professional interview, Derek. Let's focus on your qualifications." Right. Of course. I just meant, well, it would be perfect, wouldn't it? Working together. We could carpool. Your mom would love that. She's always saying we should spend more time together as a family. I looked at Janet. Her eyebrows were somewhere near her hairline. "Tell me about your experience at Morrison Consulting," I said. "Oh, that was my own business. Consulting on operational efficiency for small to medium businesses." "What happened to it?" "The market shifted. It wasn't sustainable." "When did it close?" He hesitated. "About 18 months ago." "And you've been working at Pacific Logistics since then?" "Yes, exactly." I made a note. Pacific Logistics had gone out of business 3 years ago. I knew because we'd considered contracting with them back when I was just a senior manager. They'd collapsed after their owner was arrested for fraud. I asked him about Western Distribution. He gave dates that overlapped with his claimed time at Pacific Logistics. "You can't work 2 full-time jobs simultaneously." He was lying, and not even skillfully. The interview lasted 40 minutes. When it ended, I thanked him professionally and told him we'd be in touch within a week. As he left, he turned back. "Hey, I'm sure I'll see you at Thanksgiving, right? We can talk more then." "I don't think I'll be there this year." His smile faltered. "Oh, your mom will be disappointed." The door closed behind him. Janet turned to me. "What the hell was that?" "That was my mother's boyfriend." "Your Rebecca, his resume is complete fiction." I noticed. "Are you going to tell her?" "I thought about that. Let me see who else we interview first." That evening my phone rang. I answered. "Hi, Mom. Rebecca. Derek just told me about the interview. Isn't this wonderful?" Her voice was bright, excited. "He's perfect for that job. And you two can work together. Family supporting family. This is exactly what I've always wanted." Something in her tone made my skin crawl. This wasn't excitement. This was expectation. "Mom, we're interviewing several candidates. I can't discuss ongoing hiring processes." "Oh, don't be ridiculous. Of course you'll hire him. He's qualified and he's family. That's what matters. Qualifications matter. I hire based on merit." Her voice cooled instantly. "Merit? Of course. Your precious professional standards. Derek really needs this job. His consulting business didn't work out and he's been struggling. He claimed he's been working at Pacific Logistics." Silence. Then, "Well, yes. But that's complicated." "Mom, Pacific Logistics closed 3 years ago. It's still on his resume?" "Yes." More silence. "Maybe he made a mistake with the dates." "A 3-year mistake?" "Rebecca, I'm asking you to help family. Derek is a good man. He's been good to me. And after everything I've done for you, paying for your childhood, raising you, supporting you, the least you could do is give him a chance." The guilt trip. There was. "What exactly did you do for me, Mom? You kicked me out at 18 because I wanted to go to college instead of getting a job to help pay your bills. I took out loans for everything. I worked 3 jobs. You didn't pay for my education. I did. I gave you life. That's not a resume line item. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. Just hire him, okay? He needs this. I need this. Ashley needs to see that family helps each other." "What does Ashley have to do with this?" "She could use a job too. Maybe Derek could put in a good word once he's established." And there was the real plan. Get Derek in. Use him as a foothold. Get Ashley hired. Maybe more family members after that. My company wasn't an opportunity. It was a resource to be exploited. "I have to go, Mom." "Rebecca, wait." I hung up. My hands were shaking. I sat on my couch staring at my phone waiting for it to ring again. It didn't. Instead a text came through. Mom, don't come to Thanksgiving. You're always too busy with work anyway. Derek and Ashley need the attention more. I read it 3 times. Then I put my phone face down on the coffee table and tried to breathe normally. Over the next 3 days, I interviewed 5 more candidates for the operations manager position. 2 were mediocre. 2 were decent. 1 was exceptional. Patricia Chin, no relation, different family, had 12 years of operations experience. Her resume was immaculate. Her references were glowing. Her technical assessment scores were perfect. She answered every question with precision and depth. She was everything Derek wasn't: qualified, prepared, honest. The choice was obvious. On Friday afternoon, I sent my hiring recommendation to Janet and our CO, Patricia Chin. Monday morning, my phone exploded. From Mom, 6:47 a.m. How could you do this to Derek? From Mom, 6:48 a.m. Janet called him to say he didn't get the job. You picked someone else over family. From Mom, 6:51 a.m. I can't believe I raised someone so selfish. From Mom, 6:55 a.m. Derek is devastated. He was counting on this. I was counting on this. From Mom, 7:02 a.m. You're destroying this family. From Ashley, 7:15 a.m. Mom is crying because of you. Hope you're happy. From Ashley, 7:16 a.m. Derek is such a nice guy and you just humiliated him. From Ashley, 7:18 a.m. You've always thought you were better than us. From Carol, 7:34 a.m. Your mother called me in tears. After everything she's sacrificed for you. You should be ashamed. I didn't know Carol well. She was Mom's friend from her book club. I'd met her maybe twice in my life. And she was texting me about my hiring decisions. Then came texts from Mom's sister Linda, from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in 5 years, from someone whose number I didn't even have saved. Everyone had the same message. I'd betrayed family. I was selfish. I was cruel. Derek deserved that job. I turned my phone off. At work, Patricia accepted our offer. She'd start in 2 weeks. I walked Janet through my decision. Patricia's qualifications, her experience, her references. It was, professionally speaking, an easy choice. What about the family backlash? Janet asked. That's not a business consideration. Is it going to become one? I didn't know how to answer that. That evening I made a decision. I turned my phone back on and opened the family group chat. The one I'd been muted in for 3 months. The one with Mom, Ashley, Aunt Linda, and Carol. I hadn't looked at it in weeks. Now I scrolled back to September. What I found made my stomach turn cold. Mom, September 12th, Rebecca got another promotion. Director. 6 figures. She thinks she's so special now. Ashley, September 12th. Did she even tell you or did you see it on Facebook? Mom, Facebook. She couldn't be bothered to call her own mother. I had called 3 times. She never answered. I left voicemails. She never called back. Linda, September 14th. Maybe she tried to call? Mom, she's too busy. Work is her god now. Family is just an inconvenience. Carol, September 15th. That's so sad. You raised her and now she acts like she doesn't need you. Mom, exactly. But I have a plan. I stopped scrolling. Read that again. I have a plan. Ashley, September 15th. What plan? Mom, Derek is applying to her company. She has connections. Time for her to actually be useful to this family for once. My heart was pounding now. Linda, September 16th. Is that appropriate? Her workplace. Mom, she owes me. I'm her mother. She can help her family or she can explain why she won't. Carol, September 16th. Smart. Family should help each other. Mom, September 28th. I've been coaching Derek for his interview. I know exactly how Rebecca thinks. She's predictable. He'll get the job. Coaching him. She'd been coaching him to manipulate me. I kept scrolling. Mom, October 8th. Derek interviews next week. I told him to emphasize the family connection. She won't say no to family. Not publicly. Ashley, October 8th. What if she does? Mom, then she proves what I've been saying. She's not really part of this family anymore. She's chosen her career over us. Mom, October 15th. One more thing. Once Derek is established, Ashley, you should apply too. HR won't want to look like they're discriminating against family. They'll have to hire you. Ashley, October 15th, really? Mom, trust me. Rebecca will have to recommend you. How would it look if she hired a stranger over her own sister? They were planning to colonize my company. Derek first. Ashley second. Who else after that? Mom, October 19th, Thanksgiving is coming up. I'm thinking of uninviting Rebecca. Let her see what it's like to be excluded. Maybe she'll be more cooperative when Derek asks for the job. Carol, October 19th. Isn't that harsh? Mom, she needs to understand family matters. Right now, she thinks she can just do whatever she wants without consequences. Linda, October 20th. I really don't think. Mom, you don't have to agree, Linda. You're not the one dealing with a daughter who's too good for her own family. Mom, October 22nd, sent the text. Don't come to Thanksgiving. Let's see if that motivates her. I felt sick reading it. The uninvitation wasn't anger. It was strategy. Ashley, October 22nd, she's going to be so upset. Mom, good. Upset people make compromises. Mom, November 3rd, Derek's interview was today. She didn't hire him on the spot like I thought. Said she's considering candidates. Translation, she's going to reject him. Ashley, November 3rd, what do we do? Mom, pressure campaign. I'm texting everyone. Linda, Carol, anyone who'll listen. Make her understand she's destroying family relationships. Use guilt. She responds to guilt. Carol, November 4th, sent her a long message about your sacrifices. Really laid it on thick. Mom, perfect. Let's see if she caves. Mom, November 7th, she hired someone else. Some woman named Patricia. Derek just got the rejection call. Ashley, November 7th, I can't believe her. Mom, oh I can. This is exactly who she is. Selfish. Career-obsessed. She's chosen a stranger over her own family. Carol, November 7th. What now? Mom, how we make her regret it. I took screenshots of everything. Every message. Every manipulation. Every lie about me. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped my phone. Then I saw there were new messages. From today. Mom, 6:42 a.m. Derek didn't get the job. She rejected him. After everything, she picked a stranger. Ashley, 6:45 a.m. What are we going to do? Mom, 6:50 a.m. Derek is talking to a lawyer. She violated employment discrimination laws by denying him the job because of personal family issues. We have proof she knew him personally and rejected him anyway. Carol, 7:30 a.m. Can he sue? Mom, Derek thinks so. At minimum, her company will want to settle quietly. She'll be reprimanded. Maybe even fired. Ashley, 7:35 a.m. Would that actually work? Mom, Derek's lawyer says yes. Companies hate discrimination lawsuits. They'll throw her under the bus to make it go away. Linda, 8:15 a.m. This has gone too far. You're trying to get your own daughter fired. Mom, I'm holding her accountable. She needs to learn that family matters. Actions have consequences. I sat there in my apartment, phone in my hand, reading about my own mother planning my professional destruction. The doorbell rang. I checked my phone camera. It was Derek. I didn't answer. He rang again. Then he knocked. Rebecca, I know you're home. We need to talk. I called 911. Told them someone I'd rejected for a job was at my door refusing to leave. Derek kept knocking. Just open the door. Your mom is really upset. You're hurting her. Just talk to me. The police arrived 12 minutes later. I watched through the camera as they spoke to Derek, who explained he was just trying to talk to family. One officer came to my door. I opened it. Ma'am, do you know this man? He's my mother's boyfriend. I interviewed him for a job last week. He didn't get it. I don't want him here. Has he threatened you? Not directly. But I don't feel safe with him at my door. The officer went back to Derek. They talked for another minute. Then Derek got in his car and left. The officer returned. We've asked him not to come back. If he does, call us immediately. Do you want to file a report? Not yet. But can I get the case number in case I need it later? He gave me his card with a case number written on the back. That night, Derek left me a voicemail. Rebecca, this is ridiculous. I just wanted to talk. Your mom is devastated. She thought you were better than this. Rejecting me is one thing, but calling the cops on me? That's insane. You know what? I'm done being nice. I know people in this industry. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. You're going to regret this. I saved the voicemail. Then I called Janet at home. We have a problem, I said and played her the message. She was quiet for a long moment. Forward that to me. I'm documenting this. And Rebecca, you made the right call not hiring him. I know. No, I mean, imagine if you had hired him and then this happened. Imagine him in your office every day. I hadn't let myself think about that. Now I did. Derek working down the hall. Coming to my office. Having access to company information. Having leverage over me forever. Yeah, I said quietly. I know. That week I blocked Mom's number. Ashley's number. Carol's number. I left the family group chat. I blocked everyone from the pressure campaign. Then I called Aunt Linda. Linda, I need to ask you something. Do you actually believe I'm the monster Mom says I am? Linda sighed. Honey, no. I've been trying to defend you in those chats. But your mom, she's got a lot of resentment. About what? About you succeeding. About you leaving and building a life without her. She built her identity around being needed after your dad left. You became independent. Ashley never did. Your mom rewards dependency. So she's punishing me for being self-sufficient. Essentially. And Derek? He's another person who needs her. She's trying to make you need her too by creating situations where you owe her. By getting him a job. And then Ashley. And then who knows? She wants control. What should I do? Keep your boundaries. She needs therapy, but she won't go unless she hits rock bottom. Thanks, Linda. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You deserved better than this. I hung up feeling hollow. Thanksgiving came. I spent it alone in my apartment with Chinese takeout and a Netflix marathon. It wasn't sad. It was peaceful. My phone stayed silent all day. At 9 p.m. a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. I forwarded it to Janet and the police case number. The next Monday, Patricia Chin started her first day. She was brilliant. Within a week she'd reorganized our vendor database, streamlined our ordering process, and identified $40,000 in cost savings. She was exactly the hire we needed. On Wednesday, Janet called me into her office. Her face was serious. We have a situation. My stomach dropped. What happened? Derek Morrison filed a complaint with the EEOC. What? He handed me a folder. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. He's claiming discrimination. Says you denied him employment based on familial status. That you refused to hire him because of personal family disputes, not because of qualifications. I opened the folder. Derek's complaint was 7 pages long. He claimed he was eminently qualified for the position. He claimed I'd told him during the interview that family members aren't welcome at my company. He claimed I'd threatened his livelihood by blacklisting him in the industry. He claimed Janet and I had conspired to deny him employment opportunities. Every single statement was a lie. There's more, Janet said. He's also claiming hostile work environment based on how you sicked the police on him when he tried to have a civil conversation about the job decision. He showed up at my apartment uninvited and wouldn't leave. I know. But he's spinning it as you overreacting because you're vindictive toward family members. This is insane. It's also actionable. We have to investigate. It's policy. Janet, his resume was fiction. His references didn't check out. His technical assessment. I know all of that. But he's filed a legal complaint, which means legal has to investigate thoroughly. They'll interview. They'll review everything. And Rebecca? She looked uncomfortable. Until this is resolved, there might be some optics concerns. What does that mean? It means corporate is nervous. A discrimination lawsuit against a director? That's bad press. They might suggest you take some leave while. No. I stood up. Absolutely not. I did nothing wrong. I agree. But I can't control what corporate decides. I sat back down, my heart pounding. How long does this take? Weeks. Maybe months. OC complaints are slow. And in the meantime? In the meantime, you keep doing your job. And you document everything. I left her office feeling like the walls were closing in. That evening I checked the family group chat screenshots again. The newer messages. Mom, November 14th. Derek filed the complaint. Now we wait. Ashley, November 14th. Will she get fired? Mom, maybe. At minimum, it'll be a black mark on her record. Her company will settle. They always do. And she'll think twice before screwing over family again. Carol, November 14th. What if they fight it? Mom, they won't. Too expensive. Too much bad publicity. Derek's lawyer says they'll offer him money to go away, and they'll demote Rebecca to make it look like they took action. Linda, November 15th. You're trying to destroy your daughter's career. Mom, I'm teaching her a lesson about family loyalty. I forwarded everything to Janet. This isn't a legitimate complaint. This is a coordinated attack. She read through the screenshots, her face getting darker. Rebecca, this is conspiracy. They planned this from the beginning. I know. I need to show this to legal immediately. Legal took it seriously. Very seriously. They launched their own investigation. Not just into Derek's complaint but into Derek himself. What they found was worse than I'd imagined. Derek Morrison had filed similar EOC complaints at 3 other companies over the past 6 years. Each time he'd applied for a job he wasn't qualified for, been rejected, and filed discrimination complaints claiming various reasons. Age discrimination, disability discrimination, familial status discrimination. 2 companies had settled with him rather than fight. One for $45,000. Another for $32,000. One company had fought him and won, but only after spending months and $80,000 in legal fees. Derek wasn't an unlucky job seeker. He was a professional complainant. A scammer. Our legal team pulled his background check. The thorough one they do after someone is seriously considered for hire. What they found made my blood run cold. Derek Morrison had a criminal record. 8 years ago he'd been convicted of fraud and embezzlement. He'd stolen $127,000 from a company where he'd worked as a contractor. He'd served 2 years of probation. On his job application he checked no when asked about criminal convictions. That was a separate crime, lying on a federal employment application. Did Mom know? I asked the investigator our lawyers had hired. He showed me his report. Derek had a pattern. He specifically targeted women in their late 50s and 60s who had adult children and successful careers. My mom wasn't his first. She was his fourth. The previous 3 women. One had a daughter who was a hospital administrator. Derek tried to get hired at her hospital. When he didn't, he filed an EOC complaint. The hospital settled. Another had a son who worked for a marketing firm. Derek applied, was rejected, filed a complaint, got a settlement. The third had a daughter at a tech company. Same pattern. Same result. He was a con artist. And Mom was his latest mark. The pattern is clear, the investigator said. He identifies targets, cultivates relationships, positions himself to apply for jobs at their children's companies, files complaints when rejected, and collects settlements. He's made over $150,000 doing this. He targeted my mom specifically because of me. Almost certainly. I felt sick. Our lawyers drafted a response to Derek's EOC complaint. It was devastating. They documented his fabricated resume, his failed technical assessment, the 3 other candidates we interviewed, Patricia Chen's superior qualifications, Derek's threatening voicemail to me, his showing up at my apartment, the police report, his criminal history, his pattern of filing false complaints at other companies, the family group chat showing premeditation and conspiracy. They also filed a counterclaim. Derek had knowingly made false statements in his EOC complaint, which is a federal crime. We were pursuing charges for attempted fraud, perjury, and defamation. They sent it to Derek's lawyer on a Friday afternoon. Monday morning, Derek withdrew his complaint. But I wasn't done. Because during all of this I'd made another discovery. I hired a private investigator, paid for with my own money, to look into Derek's current activities. Not just his past. His present. What the investigator found was shocking. Derek wasn't working alone. He had a partner. A woman named Susan Chin. No relation to Patricia, different Chin. Susan was 57. She worked as a legal consultant. Together they'd been running this scam for 8 years. The pattern: Derek would identify targets through dating apps. Susan would coach him on how to approach their children's employers. When companies rejected Derek, Susan would draft the EOC complaints using her legal knowledge. When companies settled, they'd split the money. When companies fought back, they'd move to the next target. They'd made over $400,000 in settlements over 8 years. My mom wasn't a conspirator in their operation. She was a victim they were exploiting. But she was also still planning my professional destruction, so my sympathy was limited. The investigator found something else. Derek and Susan were under investigation by the FBI. Apparently, several companies had compared notes and realized the same names kept appearing in EOC complaints. They'd reported it to federal authorities. My case might be the one that brought the whole operation down. I called the FBI agent in charge and volunteered to cooperate. Gave them everything. The family group chat. The voicemail. The police report. The documentation of Derek's lies. All of it. The agent thanked me. Your documentation is the most thorough we've seen. Most victims just settle and move on. You fought back. I had to. We're building a RICO case. Racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations. This isn't just fraud. It's organized crime. When will you arrest them? Soon. We need a few more pieces, but soon. I hung up and sat in my office staring at my computer screen. My mother had chosen a career criminal over me. She'd helped him target my company. She'd participated in a conspiracy to destroy my career. And she had no idea the man she was defending was about to go to federal prison. I needed to tell her. Not for her sake. For mine. Because I needed her to know what she'd done. I unblocked her number and called. She answered on the first ring. Rebecca. Mom, we need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. You've destroyed this family. Derek is a con artist. Silence. He's targeted 3 other women before you. They all had adult children in professional careers. He dates the mothers, applies for jobs at the children's companies, files false discrimination complaints when he's rejected, and collects settlements. He's made over $400,000 doing this over the past 8 years. He has a partner. They're currently under FBI investigation for organized fraud. He's going to be arrested probably within the next few weeks. More silence. And you helped him target me. The family group chat where you coordinated the pressure campaign? That's evidence of conspiracy. Your text about getting me fired? That's documentation of intent. You're not technically part of his criminal operation, but you sure as hell enabled it. That's not. Her voice was shaking. I hired a private investigator. I have proof of everything. The FBI has it now. Derek lied to you about his past. He lied about his job history. He lied about his criminal record. And you helped him because you resented my success so much that you'd rather destroy me than see me happy. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. You wanted to use him to control me. Well, congratulations. He used you to try to steal from my company and ruin my career. You both failed. Rebecca, don't come to my apartment. Don't contact my workplace. Don't send anyone to pressure me. If you or anyone on your behalf contacts me or my employer again, I'll pursue legal action for harassment and defamation. Am I clear? You can't just. Am I clear? Yes. I hung up. My hands were steady now. 2 weeks later, Derek was arrested. The FBI press release said he and Susan Chin were being charged with multiple counts of fraud, making false statements to federal agencies, extortion and racketeering. Bail was set at $250,000 each. Neither could make bail. They went to jail pending trial. The news made local papers. Dating app fraud ring busted read one headline. The article detailed how Derek had targeted mothers through dating sites to access their children's companies. Mom was mentioned in the article, not by name but as Woman D, a 63-year-old Sacramento resident whose daughter worked at a tech firm. Within 24 hours, everyone in Mom's social circle knew. Small-town gossip travels fast. Linda called me. Your mother is devastated. She had no idea. She enabled it. She knows. She's mortified. Her friends are asking questions. Carol stopped returning her calls. Good. Rebecca, she's still your mother. She tried to get me fired, Linda. She coordinated a pressure campaign. She helped a criminal target my company. Being my mother doesn't erase that. She wants to apologize. I don't want to hear it. What if she went to therapy? That's between her and her therapist. I hung up. Christmas came and went. I spent it alone again. Peaceful. Quiet. Exactly what I'd bought my life for. Then in January something shifted. I got a letter. Handwritten. 8 pages long. From Mom. It wasn't an apology. Not at first. It was a confession. She detailed everything. How she'd resented my success since I was 18 and chose college over helping pay her bills. How she'd felt abandoned when I moved away. How she'd built her identity around being needed, and when I didn't need her anymore she felt worthless. How she'd treated Ashley's dependence as love and my independence as rejection. How Derek had seemed perfect at first. Kind of. Interested. Complimentary. How he'd asked about me early on, seemed genuinely curious about my career. How those questions had felt like interest, not interrogation. How he'd suggested applying to my company as a joke, at first, then more seriously. How she'd encouraged it, thinking it would bring us together. How she'd convinced herself I owed it to family to help him. How the rejection had felt like another abandonment. How she'd lashed out. How she'd wanted me to feel the pain she felt. And then how she'd learned the truth. How Linda had shown her the investigation. How she'd realized Derek had targeted her deliberately. How she'd Googled him and found articles about the other women, the other families, the pattern. How she'd felt stupid. Used. Humiliated. And then, finally, how she'd started to see that the real problem wasn't Derek. It was her. Her resentment. Her need for control. Her punishment of my success. The letter included documentation from a therapist. She'd been in treatment for 6 weeks. Intensive therapy 3 times a week, specifically addressing controlling behaviors and resentment of adult children's independence. The last paragraph read, "I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I enabled a criminal to target you because I was so consumed with resentment that I couldn't see reality. I hurt you deliberately, repeatedly for years. I prioritized a man I'd known for months over the daughter I'd raised for 3 decades. And when you succeeded despite me, I tried to tear you down. I'm telling you this not to make you feel sorry for me, but so you understand. I see what I did. I see how I failed you. I'm working to change, but that's for me, not you. You owe me nothing. Not forgiveness. Not contact. Not another chance. You deserved a mother who celebrated your success. Instead you got me. I'm sorry." I put the letter in a drawer and didn't respond. Derek's trial was scheduled for March. The prosecutor asked if I'd testify. I said yes. In February, the prosecutor called with an update. Derek took a plea deal. 5 years federal prison. Susan took 8 years. They're both cooperating to identify other victims. So no trial? No trial. But we'd still like your victim impact statement for the sentencing hearing. I'll write it. I spent 3 days on that statement. It wasn't about Derek. He was going to prison either way. It was about what he'd taken. Not money, he'd never gotten a dime from me or my company. But peace of mind. Family relationships. The ability to trust. The hearing was in March. Mom was there. I saw her in the gallery sitting alone. She looked smaller than I remembered. Older. When I read my statement, I didn't look at her. I looked at Derek. You targeted my family, I said. Not for what we had, but for what you could take. You manipulated my mother. You attempted to infiltrate my company. You filed false legal complaints to destroy my career. And when you failed, you tried to intimidate me at my home. But more than that, you exploited my mother's resentments to turn her into a weapon against me. You identified her vulnerabilities, her need for control, her resentment of my independence, and you weaponized them. You turned family dysfunction into a criminal conspiracy. Because of you, I no longer have a relationship with my mother. Because of you, I spent months looking over my shoulder, afraid you'd show up at my apartment again. Because of you, I learned that my own family was coordinating my professional destruction. You didn't just attempt to defraud my company. You shattered my family. That's what I want the court to understand. The financial impact was prevented. The personal impact will last forever. The judge thanked me and asked if I had anything else to add. I looked at Derek. I hope you think about every family you destroyed. I hope it haunts you. Then I sat down. Derek was sentenced to 5 years. Susan got 8. Both were ordered to pay restitution to their victims. A total of $487,000 divided among 11 families. I was awarded $15,000 in restitution for emotional distress and legal fees. I donated it to a nonprofit that helps fraud victims. After the hearing, Mom approached me in the hallway. "Rebecca." I turned, looked at her, said nothing. "Can we talk? Just for a moment." "What do you want?" I testified against him. "Did you see?" "No." I told the prosecutor everything. How he targeted me. How he manipulated me. How I helped him hurt you. "Good. I'm in therapy. 3 times a week. Linda probably told you." "She did. I'm working on it. The resentment. The control. All of it. My therapist says I have to grieve the relationship I damaged. She says I have to accept that you might never forgive me." She's right. Mom's eyes filled with tears. "I know. But I want you to know I see it now. What I did. How I failed you. You succeeded despite me, not because of me. And instead of being proud, I tried to tear you down. I'm so sorry." I looked at her. Really looked at her. She'd lost weight. Her hair was more gray. She looked exhausted. "I appreciate the apology," I said. "But it doesn't change anything." "I know. You tried to get me fired. You helped a criminal target me. You told everyone I was a terrible person. You excluded me from family events as punishment for being successful. And when you got caught, only then did you apologize." "I know. So what do you want from me?" "Nothing. I wanted you to know I'm trying to do better." "For you or for me?" He thought about that. "For me. Because I can't live with who I was." "Then I hope therapy works." I walked away. In April, Linda called with an update. Mom was still in therapy. Ashley had gotten a job. A real job at a library. He was still living with Mom, but she was working. That was progress. Derek was in federal prison in Nevada. Susan was in California. Both were serving their sentences. The FBI had identified 14 families total that Derek and Susan had targeted. Mine was the only one that had fought back. The others had either settled or hadn't realized they were being scammed until it was too late. In May, I got another letter from Mom. Shorter this time. Just 2 pages. She joined a support group for parents of estranged adult children. She was learning about boundaries, codependency, and how her behavior had driven me away. She was working on accepting that she might never have a relationship with me again. She wasn't asking for anything. Just updating me. I didn't respond. In June, Ashley texted me. "First time in 8 months. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I said terrible things. I believed Mom about you. I was wrong. You don't have to respond. I just needed you to know I get it now." I didn't respond. In July, my company promoted me. Vice President of Operations. Salary, $240,000. Benefits, full. Respect, earned. The CEO called me into his office. "I want you to know, the way you handled the Derek situation showed real integrity. You made a hard choice for the right reasons. That's leadership." "Thank you. How are things with your family?" "Non-existent." "I'm sorry to hear that." "I'm not." He nodded. "Fair enough. Boundaries matter." In August, Patricia Chin asked me a question over coffee. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Sure." "Why didn't you just hire Derek? Wouldn't it have been easier? You could have avoided all that drama." I thought about it. Short term, yes. But then I'd have an unqualified, potentially criminal employee in my company. He'd have access to information. He'd have leverage over me forever. And my mother would have learned that if she manipulates and pressures me enough, I'll cave. So you drew a line. I drew a line. And I kept it drawn even when it cost me my family. Do you regret it? No. The family I lost was already lost. They just didn't know it yet. That was August. Now it's November. A year since Derek's interview. A year since Don't Come to Thanksgiving. This year I got an invitation. From Linda. For Thanksgiving. "Ashley's hosting at Mom's house," she said. "Small gathering. Mom, me, Ashley, and a few cousins. Mom knows you probably won't come, but she wanted you invited. No pressure. No expectations. Just, you're welcome if you want." "Is Mom going to be there?" "Yes." Then I'm not coming. I understand. Linda, I appreciate the invitation. But I can't sit at a table with someone who tried to destroy my career. I can't pretend that didn't happen just because a year has passed and she's been to therapy. She's changed, Rebecca. Maybe. But I haven't forgiven her. And I don't know if I ever will. That's fair. Tell her I hope she has a good Thanksgiving. But I won't be there. I hung up and stared at my calendar. Thanksgiving was in 2 weeks. Last year I'd spent it alone with Chinese takeout. This year I had options. Coworkers had invited me. Friends had invited me. Patricia had invited me to her family's dinner. I accepted Patricia's invitation. Not because I needed family, but because I wanted community. There's a difference. The day before Thanksgiving I got a text from an unknown number. Hi Rebecca. It's Ashley. I know you're not coming tomorrow. I just wanted to say I'm grateful for you. You showed me what self-respect looks like. I got my own apartment. I'm moving out of Mom's house in December. I'm choosing to grow up because I watched you refuse to let anyone tear you down. Thank you. I stared at the text for a long time. Then I responded, I'm proud of you. She replied immediately, maybe we can get coffee sometime? No, Mom. No pressure. Just sisters. Maybe, I wrote back. Let me think about it. Take your time. That evening Mom called. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hi. Hi. Her voice was tentative. Linda said you're not coming tomorrow. I'm not. I understand. I wanted to hear your voice. Silence. I got my 1-year therapy milestone last week, she continued. A year of intensive work. I thought I'd feel different. But I just feel sad. Sad about what? About everything I destroyed. About the years I can't get back. About the daughter I drove away. Mom. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that you were right. About everything. I was controlling. I was resentful. I punished you for being independent. And I destroyed our relationship because I couldn't handle you not needing me. Yeah. You did. I know I can't fix it. But I want you to know. I'm glad you drew the line. I'm glad you didn't compromise yourself for me. I'm glad you chose your integrity over my manipulation. Because if you hadn't, I'd still be that person. And you'd still be the daughter who had to sacrifice herself to keep me happy. I wasn't expecting that. Derek going to prison forced me to look at myself, she said. Not because he was the problem, but because I chose him over you. A criminal over my daughter. A con artist over the person I raised. What kind of mother does that? A broken one. Yeah. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry, Rebecca. For all of it. For every time I made you feel small. For every success I dismissed. For every accomplishment I resented. For choosing my need for control over your need for support. I'm sorry. I closed my eyes. Thank you. You don't have to forgive me. I know. But I'm here. If you ever want to try again. No expectations. No pressure. Just, I'm here. Okay. Okay. Mom. Have a good Thanksgiving. You too, sweetheart. I hung up. Sat on my couch. Stared at the wall. My mother tried to destroy my career. She helped a criminal target me. She told everyone I was selfish and cruel. She excluded me from family events as punishment. And then she went to therapy. For a year. And changed. Or at least she was trying to change. I didn't know if that was enough. I didn't know if it would ever be enough. But for the first time in a year I felt something other than anger when I thought about her. I felt possibility. Not forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But possibility. On Thanksgiving I went to Patricia's family dinner. Her parents were kind. Her siblings were funny. The food was good. It wasn't my family. But it was family adjacent. And that was enough. That evening I got a photo from Linda. The whole family at the table. Mom, Ashley, Linda, cousins. They were smiling. There was an empty chair. Linda's text, we saved you a seat. For next year maybe. I looked at the photo for a long time. Then I replied, maybe. 3 weeks later, Derek called me from prison. I don't know how he got my number. I hung up immediately and blocked it. The next day his lawyer called my lawyer. Derek wanted to apologize. He wanted to make amends. My lawyer asked if I was interested. I said no. He's in prison for 5 years, I said. That's the only amends I need. But curiosity got the better of me. What did he want to say? That he's sorry. That he targeted you because you looked successful in your photos. That your mom was easy to manipulate because she was so resentful of you. That he knew she'd help him pressure you. Anything else? He said you were the only person who fought back. Everyone else settled. He said you cost him everything. Good. He wants you to know he's learned his lesson. He learned not to get caught. That's not the same thing. Should I tell him you're not interested in contact? Tell him if he contacts me again I'll file for another restraining order. Tell him I hope he thinks about every family he destroyed. Tell him I hope federal prison is exactly as unpleasant as he deserves. My lawyer paused. I'll communicate that professionally. You do that. Derek never contacted me again. It's been a year since the arrest. 14 months since the interview. 15 months since Don't Come to Thanksgiving. Mom sends me updates every few weeks. She's still in therapy. Ashley moved into her own apartment. Mom joined a book club and started volunteering at a food bank. She's building a life that doesn't revolve around controlling her children. Ashley and I got coffee twice. It was awkward. She apologized more. I accepted. We're not close, but we're not enemies. Something. Linda says Mom asks about me every time they talk. Asks if I'm okay. If I'm happy. If there's anything she can do. Linda tells her no, just keep working on yourself. I haven't seen Mom in person since the courthouse. Haven't talked to her except that one Thanksgiving call. I read her texts but don't always respond. I don't know if I'll ever forgive her. I don't know if our relationship is salvageable. But I know this, I made the right choice. I didn't hire Derek. I didn't compromise my integrity. I didn't sacrifice my career for family approval. I didn't cave to pressure or guilt or manipulation. I drew a line. And when they crossed it, I held it. Cost me my family. Cost me peace of mind for months. It cost me the illusion that blood relation means unconditional support. But I kept my job. My integrity. My self-respect. My career. My future. And slowly, very slowly, I'm building something new. Not a relationship with my mother. Not yet. Maybe never. But a relationship with myself where I don't have to sacrifice who I am to be loved. That's worth more than any Thanksgiving dinner. Last week I got promoted again. Senior Vice President. Salary, $310,000. The CEO told me they're grooming me for the C-suite. CEO within 3 years, maybe CEO after that. I called Linda to tell her. She was thrilled. Are you going to tell your mom? Not yet. She'd be proud. That's not why I do it. I know. But she would be. Maybe someday I'll tell her. When her pride doesn't feel like something I need anymore. That's fair. I hung up and looked at my office. My title on the door. My team of 15 people. The company I'd helped build. The career I'd earned. My mother said don't come to punish me for succeeding. Her boyfriend called me boss to infiltrate my company. I said no to both. And I won. The text from Mom still sits in my phone. I haven't deleted it. Don't come to Thanksgiving. You're always too busy with work anyway. She was right about one thing. I am busy with work. But not because I'm avoiding family. Because I'm building a life where nobody can take what I've earned. Not Derek. Not Mom. Not anyone. I bought my success with years of work. Nights of studying. Days of sacrifice. Every promotion earned through competence, not manipulation. And when someone tried to steal it through guilt and deception, I fought back. I'm still fighting. Still succeeding. Still rising. And I'm not apologizing for any of it. Next Thanksgiving, maybe I'll accept Linda's invitation. Maybe I'll sit at that table with the empty chair. Maybe I'll let Mom tell me she's proud. Or maybe I'll spend it with Patricia's family again. Or alone with Chinese takeout. Or with new friends I haven't met yet. The point is, it's my choice. Nobody gets to guilt me into compliance anymore. Nobody gets to weaponize family against me. Nobody gets to make me small to make themselves feel big. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations at a Fortune 500 company. I'm 33 years old. I'm successful. I'm respected. I'm thriving. And I did it by saying no to people who tried to destroy me. Even when one of them was my mother. Especially because one of them was my mother.